right, business from the City Council. Councilmember Cleveland.
Well, I do have a little bit to report. We did have a housing authority meeting, but we had received a letter of retirement from the executive director, and it was kind of appropriate also since some of the direction that the housing authority commission were wanting to go was different than the long-term goals of that director. So there's a change in direction. So it was very appropriate that they, at this time, leave. We did appoint Gus Becerra, who I can't remember what his original title was, but he is now the interim director, taking care of operations. We will be going out and eventually looking for another director, but our goals are going to be and requirements are going to be very high because we still want to be a high performer in all categories, and it takes somebody that really knows what they're doing to be able to keep high performance and zero tolerance and many things that have actually made our housing authority such a high quality authority, and actually in the housing authority realm in the United States. Other than that, just to mention something tomorrow, the fire station number 4, the new one in O'Yeller, they're going to be having a badge pinning ceremony. I'm probably stealing it from somebody here. But they're going to be having that at 3 p.m. I know I'm going to be there to show my support and honor the ones that are getting pins and advancements and stuff that they have worked very hard for. Other than that, I'm working real hard. Our home business, my wife and I have got a contract from I think it's the state of Illinois. We're bringing new revenue in from out of state back into California. So it's going to keep me busy for about 3 months, real hard. So
right.
Bringing new money.
Councilmember Didball.
I was able to go to the News 10 breakfast at New Earth. It was nominated as the breakfast place in Yuba City, so there were several of us there. It was a great turnout, and a very, very good breakfast. But that was an honor to have Yuba City be represented with that. I also went to the Yuba City Unified School District Government Liaison meeting. That was the first meeting for me, so it was more of an intro meeting. But came out from that meeting just with some numbers that just were heart-wrenching. And so I want to get those out there and see what we could do. The most striking numbers were that we have about 300 homeless children in our public schools. These kids get emotional just thinking about it. These kids leave school on Friday, their last meal, and they don't get another meal until Monday. Let's do something. So put your minds together. Send me emails, call me. It was pretty sad. So I would like to do something and help the school system. Let's see, tomorrow we have the fire, the badges being passed out. I'll be there. Thursday, I will be attending the transit meeting as well as the waste management meeting, and I'll give you an update on that. But sorry for breaking down, but kids get me. So anything you guys can do, call me up.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Gill.
I was also at the News 10 My Neighborhood Breakfast. I thought that was kind of nice, and so I want to say thank you to Channel 10. And they came early a week before and did a story on the flood issues here, so highlighting some of the flood protection for Yuba City. So I thought they did a great job. Also attended the Southern Buttes Flood Agency meeting as well as the Finance Committee meeting. It seems to be taking up a lot of the time lately. But we're looking to get some additional funds for finishing up our projects. Things are moving along pretty well. They're putting in some of the lift pumps and putting some of the sod, sprinkling some of the sod on the levees and stuff. So it kind of makes you feel a lot safer in Yuba City than it was when you go out and look at those projects. As a group, the three of us, myself and Mike Amini and Scott Shapiro, will be in Washington, D.C. next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday is the travel day. all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, solid meetings back there, trying to lobby for some additional funds that we can get. It's worked in the past, and given the fact that the city, we no longer have lobbyists in Washington, D.C., we no longer pay for a lobbyist for the state of California, so we are the lobbyist. And so we're going to go back and try to do that again. And like I said, we'll be leaving Tuesday morning at 5:30.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Gill. Vice Mayor Buckman.
I too had the privilege to attend an early morning breakfast, and Chief, you'll be happy to know there were no cops there. But it was, I think I got there just like 5:45, and I had forgotten that Yuba City wakes up early, and so when I arrived, I felt like I was late. But I'm not going to burn off the mayor because he was later than I was. But it was a great opportunity, really, to see how well the city was represented at that event, and also our community being involved. I attended the SACOG Grappa meeting a couple weeks ago. Again, looking at our metropolitan transportation every 4-year update. Received a briefing on that, and also looked at nearly $1 billion worth of 20-year funding that would be coming into our 6-county region through the various sources, whether it be federal, state, or local monies for transportation, and what the kind of the constraints of receiving that money are, and also working in conjunction with Caltrans on a number of their projects within the region, but also some of our local things. Attended a board meeting for SACOG last Thursday morning, and again, everything that occurs at those meetings probably have already gone through committee, but also receiving some of the updates on some of our partnerships with the other COGs within Northern California was probably the most newsworthy piece that came out of that. Went to the Yuba City Unified School District meeting a little later that afternoon. Again, received an update on facilities improvements for Yuba City Unified School District, and it appears that 2 of our schools here in town, one being Berry School, and the other one is Butte Vista. No, not Butte Vista. Terra Buena will be receiving new gymnasiums, something that they don't have as facilities at those schools. And one of the important factors that comes out is Yuba City impacts the school district's facilities in a very large way with our recreation department. So we have an ongoing partnership with Yuba City Unified, and those 2 new facilities will be very, very helpful in expanding some of the programs that we have for our youth. And so we look forward to that continued partnership. Also, the discussion on homelessness will grip anybody that listens to it. The definitions of homelessness for students are they don't live in their own home. They're either living in cars, they're living in the river bottoms, they're living with family members, and they're living on a couch. They don't have a bed to sleep in, many times are hungry. And there's a new program coming out where they're trying to slowly roll this out, where youth will be able to leave school on Friday with some groceries to be able to take and have for their family for the weekend. And we hope to be able to increase the capacity of that program with the 18 separate organizations within our community that are providing food to the homeless issue. Also had the discussion with homelessness adjacent to the city on the south end of town, and hopefully we can come up with some type of resolution with Sutter County to be able to address some of those issues down in there. Also had the SACOG elected officials update meeting on the Metropolitan Transportation Plan and Sustainable Community Strategy. That was right here in this room at 3:30 today. It was very good. We had Live Oak represented, Sutter County, and Yuba City, but we were in here for about an hour and received all the update information on what it will look like through 2036. So again, this is a requirement every 4 years that we update that plan. That's all I have.
All right, thank you for your report. I also attended the News 10 breakfast, and I was told to show up at 6, so that's why I was not there at 5:45. But it is early. I don't normally get up quite that early, but anyhow. I also attended the Sutter Buttes Flood Control Finance meeting and the regular meeting of the Sutter Buttes Flood Control Agency. And just a bit of an update with that, we're still working. We did receive a letter of commitment for $44 million of funding in this. Well, it takes us partway through, but we still have about $39 million that we're still trying to get commitment on from DWR, Department of Water Resources, so that we can finish up our construction project this year. And this is all centered around the department changing the definition of what our program is, and they've left us in this big gap, and so we've been struggling to try and fill the void here, and to make sure that we can finish our construction this year without having to push it over to next year, which would add tens of millions of dollars in additional cost for restaging for that work. So your trip to Washington to help secure additional funding for the Laurel Avenue South project is very timely also, and wish you well back there in Washington on that trip. Attended the mosquito vector meeting. Mosquitoes are out quite a bit right now. If you've been outdoors at in the early evenings, I will tell you that the mosquitoes that are out this time of year are not the ones that carry the West Nile virus, but they are very much of a pest. They're very hungry because they've just come out of hibernation, so they go right after you. But the good news is they're not a health and safety issue that the other species are that come out later in the year. So there's been a lot of calls to the agency to come out and spray, but at this point it doesn't help because these mosquitoes are not the ones that are really the problem. So. Also attended the Habitat for Humanity and Youth Build key ceremony for the Goen family in Marysville on Sunday, where they participate in building a home for themselves. They have to participate with 500 hours, volunteer hours towards the home. And this is a family that certainly deserves this home. A family with 10 children that has been living in a 400 square foot apartment. And so this is going to be a real blessing for them to be able to have a home that they can call their own and to be able to raise those 10 children. So it was really heartwarming to be there and to participate in that program. The Youth Build program is one where the youth of our community, the at-risk youth, are a part of this program to learn a skill and how to build a house. And this is a wonderful program. They are one of 2 agencies in the country that were selected by the Discovery Channel. They've been out here filming this project the past week, and it will be on air on Father's Day, and it will be highlighting our area. Had an opportunity to meet with James Barrott, who was the producer for that, and he had very high words to speak of our community. He was just thrilled at how well he was received in this community and what good things that we are doing for the people in our community that need help. So that's all I have at this time. Without any further ado, meeting is adjourned. Thank you for being here tonight.